Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am here to do not even a full face, a full face, but not of one brand. I feel like when I say full face, it should be of one brand. This is this month's most requested look. So if I have a look that I have on in a video that I get a lot of comments on, please redo this look for us, then that will become that month's most requested look. Some months I might not have one, but in July I did, and it was my July favorites video. So that is what I'm gonna be doing for you today. I'm gonna be using everything that I used to achieve that look, and hopefully you enjoy it. So let's go ahead and get started. Gotta correct these under eyes, and I just can't get away from the trio of products that I used in my flawless under eye video. So I'm going to start with my Chantecaille Le Camouflage Stilo Anti-Fatigue Corrector Pen. This is in the shade 3. I am almost out of this one, but I did purchase a backup during the Sylvie sale. So I will definitely be using that when this one is gone. But this is in the shade 3. I had a lot of questions in that video about whether or not I thought this was too peachy, if I thought it would be too dark. I really don't find this to be a dark color. I definitely have color correctors that are way peachier and way darker than this. So hopefully that will help some of y'all who are kind of on the fence about what color to get. Someone had mentioned that they use the Chanel corrector and she didn't know what shade. The Chanel corrector is way darker than this. So you won't have an issue with this being too dark at all. And then I do feel like a lot of these products are going to be repetitive, but y'all did ask for it because they're products I've talked about loving. I've used in recent videos, probably why they ended up in my favorites. But this is the new Lancome Teint Idole Ultra Wear Care and Glow. Now I know I just used this in my last video where I put all of the Teint Idole Lancome foundations together and kind of pitted them against each other to see which one I like the best. And I did a demo of each. So you just saw me, if you watched that last video, apply this, but it is what I was wearing in my favorites video. And this is the shade 310N. I don't find this neutral to be too pink. Sometimes neutrals can be, but this one really ends up working pretty perfectly for my skin tone. And if you didn't catch that video, you may not know that this is the only one out of the 3 Teint Idoles. So the original, the stick, and then this new Care and Glow that has fragrance added. And the only thing I can think of as to why they would do that is because it's also the one with the most skincare ingredients. And sometimes skincare ingredients cannot smell that pleasant. So brands will tend to put a fragrance into the product to kind of mask the unpleasant smell of the natural ingredients. I personally would rather just have the unpleasant smell and go on with my day, but I don't find this to be an overpowering fragrance. I mentioned in that video some people do, so it might be something you want to try out in store if you are very sensitive to fragrance in products. For concealer, my Chantecaille Future Skin Gel Foundation. This is in the shade Vanilla. I went out of town this past weekend. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you may not have seen. We went with a couple of friends of ours for a long weekend to French Lick, Indiana, to the West Baden Hotel, which a lot of people, when I had posted about it, commented or responded to my stories about how they knew about it. They're either going, they've been, they love it. It was a lot of fun. It was a nice trip away, just the 4 of us. It was us and another couple. And this is definitely the concealer I took, but it's very large. So I took a little bit and decanted it into a kind of mini little sample jar. It's really, really small, and it was way more than I needed. And so definitely when I start going on longer trips, like my 11-day trip that I have in April, I will be doing that because it still holds plenty of product, but it saves a lot of room in the makeup bag. All right, so let's let that sink in and go to the eyes. Again, I feel like it's kind of repetitive. I'm gonna be using the Anastasia Nouveau palette. I am going to be doing a little bit of a different look. When I use this in my Playing with New Makeup, I use the green shade, but I really stuck to the more warmer, lighter shades for the look that I had in my favorites video. So I'm going to take Floor in the crease, which I think I did in the other video as well, but it's just the best crease color in this palette, in my opinion, on my Refer number 15 brush. And I'm trying to think, I've been using some Anastasia singles lately that I found. I didn't find them. I knew they were there, but I have a very large palette of all matte singles. Some are ColourPop, some are Anastasia, some are matte, some are Sydney Grace. And so I've been using the, I think it's called Burnt Orange Matte from Anastasia. And that is similar to this one. It may be a tad darker, but not by much. They end up looking very similar on the eye. So if you have that shade, then you know how this one is going to work when blended out. And I honestly cannot remember. I did not have it listed, but sometimes I forget to list it because I use it so often. I can't remember whether I used my Beauty Counter cream or liquid shadow as a base, but I'm going to today. So this is the, what are they called? Lid Glow Cream Shadows. And this is the shade Aura. And I don't know if you can see, I mean, I use this a lot. It is my favorite every single day base shadow to put if I'm wearing like a shimmer color on my lid, because whether it is, I mean, truly, whether it's like warm or cool, this is gonna work. So just put a little bit on the lid, and then I'm gonna blend the lines out, blend it up a little bit. Y'all, my eyelids are peeling. My skin has been so dry this past week. Now tell me how and why my eyelids would be peeling. I don't put anything on my lids but eye creams that say they are approved to go on the lid. Now I'm gonna take a Refer number 2 and I'm gonna go into Isle, which is this very warm yellowish gold shade. And that is what I'm going to put right over that cream shadow. So just all over the lid, up into the crease, per usual. I read a post that there's this very well-known YouTuber that people had noticed had lost some subscribers. And they were wondering why. And a lot of people responded that it's because she just doesn't change it up. Like apparently she does the same. I'm familiar with who this person is, but I don't watch their videos. But apparently she just, you know, does the same eyeshadow look over and over again. And it got boring. And I thought, oh, that's me. So let me know if it gets boring. Actually, don't let me know. I'm sure it does. And I will change it up. But in this instance, it's because this is the exact look I did in that video. I'm going to take Metro, which is that more terracotta shade, on a separate number 2 brush. I just love this size. And I'm just going to stamp it right down here on the outer corner and tap it in, which really basically blends it out as I apply it. I do, you know, follow some people that do the same technique on their eyes, you know, 85% of the time. I personally don't mind it because I just like to see how the colors lay and how they blend out and how they look together. That's really what I'm looking for. But I know some people, you know, might be looking for something different or more. And then I also follow some people that never do eyeshadow. And I follow them for their skin looks, what they're using on their skin. All right, and then I'm taking Muse, which is this fabulous dark brown color. It is in the same type formula as the cream to powder shadows in the Natasha Denona palettes, which I love using for eyeliner, and I'm using my Refer 29 brush. Someone asked me if I was using this wet. I do not ever use this wet. I'm going straight into the dry shadow, tapping off and applying to the eye. I won't do this on camera, but I am going to set with my LES Soft Focus Powder underneath my eyes. This is probably going to be the last little bit that I can get out of this jar, but I do have a big one coming to me from Sephora because I love the stuff under the eyes so much. For powder, I'm going to use the brand new Fit Glow Beauty Bamboo Powder, which I talked about in that video as being one of my favorites. I'm going to use my BK Beauty 107. And I mentioned that this is kind of the type of powder, it's very silica heavy, where you feel like you're putting a ton on your brush, then you look on your brush and it doesn't really feel like or look like it has much on it at all. It does. It's still doing the job. It's just the nature of the ingredients that make it like that. This powder is for people who don't want to look like they have powder on their face. It is very, I mean, it just melts into the skin. It does take down some of the shine, but it doesn't look like heavy powder is sitting on the face at all. For bronzer, I used my new and beloved Beauty Pie Awesome Bronze, and I used Goldilocks. Now I did use the shade, I believe it was Sunkissed, in my Easy Fast Summer look. So if you want to see what an even lighter shade looks like on the skin, definitely check that out. But for the purpose of that video, I used Goldilocks. It's Beauty Pie, so you're pretty much guaranteed that I'm going to like it. I really like to take, this is like an old BH Cosmetics. It just says 4. I don't even know how many years ago I got this set. And I love it. I mean, it's the size of like a contour or blush brush, but I love it for certain bronzers to just stamp it on the face. I only took one bronzer with me this past weekend, and it was the Sicily bronzer, and I took this brush because that's another formula that I really just like to stamp into the face. These are really forgiving bronzers. I love the color of this one. I have their matte bronzer in this same shade, Goldilocks, but they're very buildable, just really pretty on the skin. Do you even have to guess what blush I used? I just can't stop with this. The RMS Redimension Hydra Powder Blush in Pomegranate Fizz. So many of y'all have said that you've gone out and bought this since I first talked about them. And a lot of y'all have said you bought multiple colors. I feel like the majority of the people that said that this was still their favorite color. But if you do have another favorite color within this line, please let us know. It's just so pretty. Now, this is one that I do feel like I can go overboard. So I do have to be a little more conservative with how much I put on my face. I don't want to have an overly blushed look, but it's just so pretty. And I'm going to buff with my Hourglass Radiant Light because I'm using a cream highlight. If I was using a powder, I would have put that on before I buffed. It's just a step I don't miss. I think maybe one time out of every 45 makeup applications do I not do this step. But there's a reason that I have gone through multiple of these compacts because it's just a daily must-have for me. Now, the highlight that I used is also the only highlight I took with me this past weekend, and it is the Clinique Chubby Stick Sculpting Highlight. Love this thing so much that it only comes in one shade, and I take it and kind of paint it on my middle and ring finger and then just tap it onto the high points of my cheeks. Look at that. Oh, so pretty. I do not do personally any kind of nose highlight, or I mean, occasionally I'll put it on the Cupid's bow. So that is the complexion finished and easy enough. I'm just gonna go back into Metro and a Refer number 14 brush and use that under the eye. Not a step you have to do. There are a lot of people who don't like doing this, and that's okay. This look would be beautiful without it. It's just something I prefer to do. And I'll do my mascara off camera, but I used my Chantecaille Longest Lash Faux Cils Mascara, and then I'll come back on and finish everything off with lips. Mascara is on. The lip combo that I had on in that video is also the same one I did in my live with Abby, where we did a full face together and I kind of walked her through a look using the Viseart Neutral Mattes palette. And that is the lip liner in BK Beauty. BK Beauty lip liner in Warm Spice. I do not typically wear lip liners. However, I love this one. in combination with the lipstick that I'm going to use, which is the Armani Lip Power in 102. So this is a nude shade. And once I apply it, sometimes I will go back in with the lip liner and apply some on top. And that is the look that I had on in my July favorites. Now, I will say, let me go ahead and do the scent of the day, and I will stick to the same one I used in that video. I do always have my scent of the day listed in my description box, regardless of whether or not I speak about it. So if you're ever curious, like, oh, what is she wearing? Just check out my description box. But this day I was wearing Dior Vanilla Diorama. So this is just a 10 ml decant, but I'll be getting a full size when I go through this. It will take me a while to go through this because you don't need much at all. One spray on each arm, maybe a spray on your shirt, and it lasts all day long. And when I'm talking all day, 12 hours later, I could still actively smell this on my skin. So definitely a heavy hitter, and you don't need much. It's going to last you quite a long time, but it is a smoky, vanilla, boozy fragrance. Very fall appropriate in my mind, but I obviously wear this in hot weather and could care less because I love it so much. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. As always, I will have everything listed and linked down in the description box below. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure and like and subscribe before you leave so you don't miss out on any future videos. And I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day.